Welcome back to English Through Wisdom. I hope you learned something valuable from our last lesson. It is wonderful to have you here again today.
I was 23 years old when I watched a man burn 10 years of his own work in a single night and smile while he did it. He did not cry. He did not shout. He simply knelt beside the fire, watched the flames curl around wood he had shaped with his own hands, and whispered something I did not understand until many years later. At the time, I thought he had lost his mind. Now I know he had finally found it. Years later, I finally understood the wisdom hidden behind that fire and behind everything that led to it. Welcome to English Through Wisdom. Here we learn English through powerful stories, timeless lessons, and wisdom from cultures around the world. Today, we traveled to a mountain village in old Japan to discover why one apprentice's patience quietly defeated another apprentice's speed. In a village pressed between pine forests and gray mountains, in a time before machines shaped wood and metal, there lived a craftsman named Master Ryota. His hands built temple gates, tea houses, and furniture so precise that merchants from distant cities sent letters asking for his work months in advance. He accepted very few apprentices. That year, he accepted 2. The first was a young man named Kenji. He arrived at the workshop with fire in his eyes and calluses already forming on his palms from years of practicing alone. He wanted more than anything to be recognized as a master before he turned 30. He believed talent plus effort should equal fast results, and he intended to prove it. The second was a young man named Sora. He arrived quietly, carrying a single bag and a look on his face that suggested he was in no hurry to go anywhere. When Master Ryota asked him why he wanted to learn woodwork, Sora thought for a long moment and said, "I do not know yet what I want to build. I only know I want to become someone capable of building it well." Master Ryota said nothing, but something in his eyes changed. For the first year, both apprentices were given the same task, sanding raw wood until it was perfectly smooth, then sanding it again the next day, and the day after that. Kenji hated it. Within weeks, he began asking when he could learn joinery, carving, and lacquer work, the skills that actually built something. Master Ryota simply replied, "When the wood teaches you what it needs to teach you." Sora asked no such questions. He noticed instead how the grain of pine responded differently from oak, how morning humidity changed the way wood absorbed oil, how a single degree of pressure in his wrist left a different texture behind. Where Kenji saw a boring chore, Sora saw a language, and he was slowly learning to read it. By the second year, Kenji had grown impatient enough to seek shortcuts. He began visiting a lacquer merchant in the next town who taught him fast techniques for applying finish that looked impressive from a distance but cracked under real use. He built a small shelf using these shortcuts and displayed it at the village market. People admired its shine. They called him gifted. Word spread that one of Master Ryota's apprentices was already producing beautiful work. Sora, meanwhile, was given something that looked to the rest of the village like punishment. Master Ryota assigned him to repair broken furniture brought in by farmers and shopkeepers, worn stools, cracked cabinet doors, tables with wobbling legs. It was humble, invisible work. No one praised him for it. But every crack he repaired taught him exactly why wood fails, which meant he was learning piece by piece exactly how to make wood that would never fail. Word of Kenji's shelf reached even the temple elders, and soon there was talk in the village that perhaps Kenji, not Sora, was the true talent under Master Ryota's roof. Sora heard these comparisons. He felt them, the way anyone feels being quietly underestimated by people they respect. One evening, sitting outside the workshop with sawdust still clinging to his sleeves, he asked Master Ryota directly, "Do you believe I am falling behind?" Master Ryota did not answer immediately. He picked up a small, unfinished wooden bowl from the workbench, turned it slowly in the lamplight, and finally said, "A tree does not apologize for the years it spends underground before anyone sees its branches." Sora did not fully understand the comment that night. He understood it 3 years later. By the 4th year, Kenji's reputation had grown loud enough that a wealthy merchant offered to fund his own small workshop. He accepted immediately, left Master Ryota's house, and began selling furniture under his own name. For a while, business was good. His pieces were fast to make, cheap to produce, and pleasing to look at in candlelight. Sora stayed. He was given increasingly difficult repair work, then eventually allowed to build small original pieces of his own, simple stools, boxes, low tables, nothing extravagant. Master Ryota examined every piece with the same silent intensity, sometimes approving with a small nod, sometimes handing it back without a word, which Sora had learned meant again. In the 6th year, the Temple Council of the neighboring province announced a commission that would decide who deserved the rare title of Master Craftsman in the region, a set of ceremonial gates for a newly built shrine, gates that needed to endure wind, rain, sun, and decades of use without warping or cracking. The reward was not only prestige but a lifetime of guaranteed work. Both Kenji and Sora submitted proposals, Kenji as an independent craftsman eager to prove himself once and for all, Sora still formally under Master Ryota's guidance. Kenji worked with astonishing speed, finishing his gate sections in under 2 months. Villagers gathered to admire the smooth, polished surface, the elegant curved beams, the confident symmetry of his design. Sora worked slower, testing different joinery methods that required no metal nails, methods that could flex slightly in strong wind instead of breaking. His gate took 5 months. More than one villager whispered that he was overthinking a simple task, that Kenji's speed proved where the real talent lived. The judging took place at the beginning of the rainy season, and this detail mattered more than anyone realized. On the first night of true mountain rain, wind tore through the valley with a force the village had not seen in years. The next morning, half of Kenji's gate had cracked along the seams, the beautiful finish blistering and peeling where water had crept beneath the fast, shallow lacquer work he never abandoned. Sora's gate stood exactly where it had been built, its wood slightly darker from the rain, its joints holding firm exactly as he designed them to. Kenji stood in front of his ruined gate in silence. He did not shout, did not argue, did not blame the weather. He simply stared at the cracked wood for a long time, and something in his posture, the posture of a man finally seeing himself clearly, told Sora that this defeat mattered more than any victory could have. That evening, Kenji built a small fire beside his broken gate and burned the finishing tools he had used for years, the same fast techniques that once made him famous. Sora found him there and asked why. Kenji answered quietly, "I built a career on looking finished. I never learned how to actually finish anything." He looked up at Sora and added, "You were never behind me. I was simply ahead of my own ability, and it finally caught up with me." Master Ryota arrived that same evening, looked at both gates, and said only one sentence before walking away. "Time does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who keep growing while they wait." Then he smiled, the same quiet smile Sora had seen only once before, on the night 3 years earlier when he first mentioned the tree and its roots. Sora was given the title of Master Craftsman that season. He offered Kenji a place back in the workshop, not as an equal yet, but as a student willing to begin again, properly this time. Kenji accepted. The old Japanese saying behind this story is Shinoshan ni mosannen, pronounced roughly ishi no ue ni mosannen. Translated literally, it means 3 years sitting on a stone. The image is simple. A cold stone feels unbearable to sit on at first, but if a person stays seated long enough, their own body heat will eventually warm the stone beneath them. The proverb teaches that patience and continued effort, even in uncomfortable or unglamorous conditions, eventually transform the situation itself. This is not a saying about passive waiting. Sora never simply waited for mastery to arrive. He sanded wood, repaired broken furniture, and studied grain patterns that no one else found interesting. for years, without applause. That accumulated, unseen effort is exactly what 3 years on a stone describes. The proverb has survived for centuries in Japan, precisely because it captures something true about craftsmanship, relationships, careers, and personal growth. Visible success is almost always the final, smallest step of an invisible, much longer process. Kenji's failure was not a lack of talent. Multiple lines in the story make clear he was gifted. His failure was mistaking early attention for actual completion, choosing techniques that looked finished quickly instead of techniques that were built to last. Sora's success was not luck. It was the compounding result of thousands of small, unglamorous decisions made when no one was watching or applauding. This is why the proverb endures. It does not promise that patience feels good in the moment. It promises that patience, applied consistently, quietly changes what a person is capable of, long before the world notices the change. Think for a moment about your own life. Is there a skill, a relationship, or a goal you gave up on too early, simply because progress felt too slow? Have you ever judged someone as behind, the way the villagers judged Sora, without knowing what they were quietly building underneath the surface? Have you ever been Kenji, choosing the fast, visible option because waiting felt unbearable, only to discover later that the shortcut cost more than it saved? There is no shame in either apprentice's story. Most of us have been both at different points in our lives. The real question this story leaves us with is simpler than it first appears. What are you building right now, in the quiet, unseen years that will eventually be tested by a storm you cannot predict? I would love to know your thoughts. Tell me in the comments what patience has taught you, or what impatience once cost you. Here are 12 useful words from today's story. Apprentice, a person learning a skill from an experienced worker. Example: she became an apprentice at the bakery when she was 16. Commission, an official request to create or build something. Example: the artist received a commission to paint the new hotel lobby. Consistency, the quality of staying the same or reliable over time. Example: his consistency at the gym finally started showing real results. Underestimated, judged as less capable or important than a person actually is. Example: they underestimated her because she rarely spoke in meetings. Shortcut, a faster but often less reliable way of doing something. Example: he tried to find a shortcut instead of studying properly. Discipline, the practice of training yourself to follow rules or routines. Example: learning a language requires daily discipline, not occasional effort. Reputation, the general opinion people have about someone. Example: her reputation for honesty made clients trust her instantly. Warp, to bend or twist out of the original shape, often from heat or moisture. Example: the old wooden door began to warp after years of rain. Invisible, unable to be seen, or in this context, unnoticed by others. Example: most of her hard work was invisible to her co-workers. Accumulate, to gradually gather or build up over time. Example: small savings accumulate into a large amount after several years. Endure, to survive or continue despite difficulty. Example: the bridge was built to endure heavy storms for 100 years. Mastery, complete skill or knowledge in a particular area. Example: it takes years of practice to reach true mastery of an instrument. Repeat this short paragraph aloud, slowly at first, then at natural speaking speed. I do not know yet what I want to build. I only know I want to become someone capable of building it well. A tree does not apologize for the years it spends underground before anyone sees its branches. Time does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who keep growing while they wait. Today we followed 2 apprentices, one chasing speed, one choosing patience, and we watched a storm reveal exactly what years of quiet effort had built. We learned the meaning behind ishi no ue ni mosanen, 3 years on a stone, and what it truly means to let time work in your favor instead of against you. We also practice 12 new English words you can use starting today. Keep learning English, keep discovering stories, and keep collecting wisdom from around the world.
If you enjoyed learning English through this ancient saying, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need this wisdom today. Until next time, keep learning English and keep collecting wisdom from around the world.